Hi guys, welcome to LoopDev for another video, and in this video I'll show you a really neat and quick way to test out your JavaScript code. The browser is a natural environment for JavaScript, and there are some development tools built right in to work with JavaScript where you can do things like logging, testing, debugging, and more. Knowing how to use these development tools will make working with JavaScript much easier and more interesting. So before we get started with code editor, let's take a look at the Chrome's development tools and the console. And also, by the way, if you're using some other browser, fear not, because all modern browsers have similar dev tools and they pretty much work the same way. So if you're in front of your browser, I encourage you to play along with me right now. I have this file right here called index.html, which is pretty blank as you can see here. I'll show you how it looks like. So it just has a head element, a body element, and the HTML tags, and that's pretty much it. So once you make this file and open it up in your browser, you're gonna get a suspicious blank page. Now what I want to do is in the viewport, I want to right click and hit inspect. Once you hit inspect, this opens the Chrome DevTools where you can do things like inspect the DOM elements and the styles that are connected to them. Throughout the course, we'll come here a lot to test several functions and see how they behave. Right now, I want to draw your attention to the second tab called console. The console is just a command line for browser where you can write and test and monitor your JavaScript code and see how they behave on the fly. We'll spend a lot of time in this console, so get familiar with the settings. As soon as you open the console, you'll see that there's an angle bracket and a text cursor right here on the top left. Here you can type in your JavaScript commands and run it in the browser immediately. So let's try it. I'm gonna start with a classic alert function in JavaScript. So I'm just gonna say alert and parentheses, and inside the parentheses I'm gonna open a quotation, and within the quotation I'm just gonna write whatever I want to print out. So I'm gonna say I love coffee. Hit enter or return, and it gives you an alert saying I love coffee with the OK button. Once you hit OK, the alert box disappears. This is JavaScript in action. We provide some commands and tell the browser to run it in the form of script, and the browser executes the command whenever we tell it to. We can also do some basic maths here. For example, alert, and inside the parentheses I'm going to say 2 plus 2. As you can see, it gives me 4. Okay, we can do some really complex arithmetic here as well, such as alert 13 point whatever times 12 point whatever, and hit enter or return, and it gives me the output in an alert box. Let's do something much more complex here. Let's display our current date and time. So to do that, I'm gonna say var date equals new date, followed by open and close parentheses. Make sure this D here is in capital letters. So if I hit enter, it doesn't do anything, but let's print it out. So I'm gonna say alert parentheses, and within the parentheses I'm just gonna type our date variable that we just created here. So hit enter, and in the alert box it's giving me the date. Now if you want to print something out in the console itself, all you gotta do is type console.log and within that I'm going to say date, and it's going to print out the date in the console itself. Now if you want to print out the date in our web page document right here, we can do that, because it's really getting annoying to hit OK in the alert box over and over again. So let's do that. So to print out in the web page itself, what we're going to do is we are going to select the document, because we want to print it out in this document. Yeah, so hit document dot body, and within the body I want to inject something in the inner HTML, and I'm gonna set that to today's date is plus this variable called date right here. And if I hit enter, it is giving me today's date. So I'll make it bold so that you guys can see a bit clearly. Actually, I'll make it in a h1 tag. h1. And I'm going to close my h1 tag here. Yeah, so that happened because I forgot to put a plus over here. So now if I hit OK, there you go. It shows our result in the web page. So as you can see, it gives me an error as well if I make a mistake. So as you can see, it's giving me a really long string of information according to where I am. So right now I'm in Melbourne, Australia. So it's giving me the daylight saving time as well. But I don't want to see all this information. I just want to see today's date in a day, month, year format. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna select document again, and within document I want to select my body, and I want to inject something in the inner HTML dot inner HTML, and I'm gonna set that equals to quotation mark open. I'm gonna set a h1 tag first, and then I'm gonna say today's date is plus get date, no, get date get dot date, open close parentheses, plus open quotation and a forward slash, and then followed by plus date dot get month, open close parentheses, plus a forward slash again, and plus date dot get full year. And I'm gonna hit plus and end my command with I'm gonna end my command by closing my h1 tag that I opened here. So don't forget the parentheses. So what I'm doing right here is I'm gonna print out today's date, and this bit right here is just gonna give me the exact date followed by a slash, and then the month followed by slash, and then the year, and then we're just closing our h1 tag. So if I hit enter, it's giving me today's date right here, but I immediately noticed something really weird. Today is the 1st of December, but it's telling me today is the 1st of November. Why is it doing that? Well, let me tell you why. Because computers do this weird things sometimes where If you tell a computer to print out a list of numbers from 1 to 10, and it'll return a list that indexed as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And since we're asking for the month object, we're getting a number in the index. So to fix this, simply what we're gonna do is hit up arrow to get our previous command, and we're gonna go to our month here. We're gonna add an extra set of parentheses and just say +1 to get our exact month. So now if I hit enter, it's gonna update the date, and now it's showing me the correct date. The neat thing about all of this is happening on the fly in the browser. We're not changing the HTML document. So if I hit reload right now, everything resets back to normal. There you go. If you feel very confused by seeing what I just did today, don't be, because we're gonna talk about each of the things that we did today, such as variable functions, in details in future videos. Right now, what I want you to take away is a simple message that the console is your playground where you come in and try and experiment with different JavaScript functions and just see how your code behaves and really check how it works in the browser. So that's it for this video, guys. Stay tuned for the next one where I talk in details about variables and methods. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.